Hi, welcome to part 3 with the Oberheim OBSX. I'll go through the bouncing sound A and just show you what we've got there, and I'll tweak a few of the controls along the way and try and show you how you can use this musically. Most of the sounds, I say, are dated, sort of late 70s, early 80s, but they're still unmistakably Oberheim, and you'll probably recognise quite a few sort of sounds that you might have heard on quite a few tracks and think, aha, that's what they used for it. So it is, after all, the poor man's Oberheim OBXA. You've already heard the A1 patch, which is brass. Patch number 2 is supposed to be a clavichord, but I actually find it more of a bass. Don't know, whatever floats your boat. Three is a string sound. So there is a logic to the way the banks seem to work, certainly for the first 24 patches anyway. Mostly sound number 3 or program number 3 is a string sound. And this is using pulse width modulation to get that warbling, vibrato-y type sound. So I'll detune the oscillators a little. Knock it up a bit and just show you how you might be able to use this sort of sound. That's knocking it an octave higher using the keyboard transpose, but as I say, you go too low with it and you can hear like the warbling of the pulse width modulation. It just sounds a bit muddy in the bass sometimes. Anyway, on to the next sound. Sound number 4 is down as electric piano. I think this is using some of the cross modulation between oscillator 1 and 2. I say that is the difference between the Oberheim OBX and the OBXA essentially. So anyway, well, let's see what you think. If I open the filter up, there's that harsh metallic ring to it, so I'll take it down. So it's probably close to something like a Hohner Pianet, that sort of thing. 5 is percussive organ. And you can hear it's getting percussion by using the filter resonance and the filter decay. Controls the percussive or key click, as it's called. You've got a nice filter fall sound there. We can probably do a sweep with it actually while we're at it, so I'll set the attack and add a bit of release. 6 is supposed to be flutes. I'll play it an octave higher. But it doesn't really strike me as very fluty, it's more of a lead sound. quite usable, as you can see. 7 is Harpsichord. Bit of stranglers for you, golden brown. Number 8 is lead sync. I actually use it more for bass, but you can. Use it for lead. It's actually using unison, where all 5 voices in this machine are stacked onto one note. Take it off. I've got my polyphonic sound. Put it back on. If I take the release off, you've got something close to the sound that the Cure used on their track The Fly. It's actually using the low frequency oscillator to sweep the sync between oscillator 2 and oscillator 1. That is because it's based on the OBX, although it uses the production techniques, custom chips like Curtis chips of an Oberheim OBXA. Its voice architecture uses cross modulation, and there was no facility to use the filter envelope to sweep the sync like you could on, say, a Prophet 5. That feature came out on the Oberheim OBXA, and the OBXA sacrificed its cross modulation to do that. Also, when I was playing with this sound, if I had a bit of attack, you've sort of got a sound similar to what Jean-Michel Jarre uses on the first Rendezvous track, that resonant bass that sort of fades in at the beginning on the Rendezvous 1 track. So that's just the first 8 banks. I've had a bit of a tweak, and you see there's a bit of variety, and it is quite usable.